Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to St. Pete by Night, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer tabletop role-playing game set in the world of darkness. We play Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. I'm your humble storyteller this evening, Devlin Kane, and I am one of many junior storytellers here at St. Pete. Make sure to check out St. Pete by Night on all of our social media platforms. That includes X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But what you really need to go check out is our website, stpetebynight.com, where we have a city map, storyteller profiles, and a one-of-a-kind threat meter. If you're not already a subscriber here on Twitch, go ahead and hit that follow button, go back and catch up on all of our past episodes. And if you wanted to play with us, come join our Discord server, become a member of this amazing community. Tonight we're playing Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. Let's introduce our players. Hello and welcome to another episode of Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here on St. Pete by Night. I'm Devlin Kane, your humble storyteller this evening, and these are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Bellatrix the Malkavian.
I'm Kari, and I'm playing Great Novak, Toreador with Big Dreams.
Hello, I'm Kendall. I'm playing Maggie Haywood, the Hekata.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'm playing Sophie Clues, the Malted Milkshake Malkavian.
Fantastic. So, last we left off, our coterie participated in an exchange of sorts. They decided they were going to move forward and interact with the individuals from Chicago. After a few of their contingencies added to the mix, they managed to come out on top, mostly. The people from Chicago defeated. The hunters successfully lured in to create a little bit more of a distraction, thanks to Matthew's plan. But in the chaos and overwhelming mix of it all, the goal to save Matthew's touchstone was failed, as Nick succumbed to a frenzy and killed her there on the spot. shortly after this moment took place, he regained the last little bit of his memory. Alex was his brother, and his sire, who he thwarted from toppling the princedom of New York, marked him to die with a terminal decree, should he ever hear her name. And we ended the session with him walking into the sun, and the rest of the coterie going down for the day in a old gymnasium. And that is where we're going to pick up. As everyone wakes up on a brand new evening, you turn to look around. You see your surviving coterie mates. However, you notice Matthew is no longer present. You turn and you see Edwin seated with a couple other individuals. Hodges and William Beaumont seem to be discussing something. The scene is yours. You can engage with yourselves, or you can then interact with the rest of the room.
I'm eyeing everyone else with a very gleam in my eye, focusing on possible bared necks and such.
Yeah, it's quite obvious that Gray has not roused out of the ordinary and is kind of pulled back with his back towards a wall and keeping an eye on everyone else.
Bella has not roused either.
Maggie is gonna start to get up. She kind of automatically rouses and starts moving toward the group of conversing gentlemen.
Sophie lifts herself up, but is clutching her head and making kind of slight groaning sounds, like almost like that feeling when you wake up hungover.
How many exits are from this place, Devil?
There are a few doors in this space, but two of them look like they probably go into like locker rooms. One, and then there are two actual exits. One that goes outside directly, and one that goes into the rest of the building.
Okay, I'm going to be very honest right now. I either need to eat something soon, or I'm gonna need to find someone and someone's gonna help me clean up the body.
Many hands make light work.
Well, Bella, if you're feeling peckish, I might have a slight solution, but just thinking of it is so tantalizing, and I fear I might lose myself a little. Maybe perhaps like Nicholas did.
What kind of solution?
Well, I still have those, what I prepared for Duncan in case he was deeply wounded, which I hope you're not wounded at all, Duncan. You seemed pretty, okay, although you were hobbling a bit.
I haven't been through worse. I understand that you were not necessarily there for me, but you did help me out of the situation, and I owe all of you my thanks. Perhaps I can do something to help here.
What are you willing to do?
I could maybe try to go out and procure something for you, so as to not make a mess, or at least limit it to a private location.
That could work.
I suppose. Sure.
They won't get harmed, will they?
Do you care if they get harmed?
I care.
At this point, I can't promise anything.
Neither can I.
He kind of touches your arm. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it'd be much worse if they get harmed outside than they do in here. I'll see what I can do. And he goes to head toward the exit. You see Edwin kind of look over at Hodges and then gesture toward Duncan. And Hodges kind of stands up. He looks much more refreshed than he did the day before. He has made his arm situation look a little bit more organic. As he goes, I'll be back in just a little while. You all hang on tight. You look a little peckish. And he goes after Duncan.
Oh, Mr. Hodges, before you go, we'll need to discuss our agreement again, as it turned
sure
out
he
you
can
didn't really help him, did you?
You were outside. How do you know what I did?
I'm sure you can discuss this later, please.
Of course, Bella. Excuse me. And he turns to leaves.
Maggie will continue approaching Edwin and Belmont.
Edwin stands up as you approach and kind of outside. Miss Haywood, and he gestures toward. They look like they pulled up a couple of like folding chairs they found in the back somewhere. Please.
She'll take a seat. So, what does the situation look like?
Well, it was a little difficult, but we managed to deter some of the explosions. But there is quite a bit, or the response to the explosions. But there is still a matter of cleaning everything up. I'm spread a little thin after cleaning up Nick's mess last night.
I can mitigate some of it. I won't be able to do all of it, but it should be able to lift some of the burden off of it.
Anything that you can do to help would be fantastic.
And these fellows from Chicago, are they all gone, or are there any remaining?
With Redkis being dead, I don't expect any more interaction. Ruckus was overly ambitious, and to die in your ambition is not something those from Chicago are familiar with. I don't expect much retaliation. And those that are working for him, with him being dead, if there were any else still here, I suspect they scattered.
I see.
But I will keep an eye out for it.
I appreciate that. And have you found satisfaction with his death?
This wasn't about satisfaction. This was about preserving what's been built.
It can be about more than one thing.
I am satisfied that there's no longer a threat to myself or the city.
Good. Then you will have no problem enrolling those promised boons with the Harpy once we get back into Camarilla territory.
It's already been discussed.
Excellent. She will look over to Belmont. Thank you for your assistance previous night.
He's cleaning the rifle that he used. Kind of has a very satisfied kind of smile as you mention. He's like, it's been the most entertaining evening I've had in a while.
Happy to provide.
I understand that you've made an arrangement with my brother.
I did. I plan on fulfilling it if it is called on.
Very well. Is there anything else?
I believe I can arrange the rest of it. If there is anything else that requires maintenance or cleaning up in the regards of where it is, if I'm not able to reach all the corners of it, I will make sure to let you know, so you can keep an eye out. This is closer to your territory than it is to mine, after all.
Yeah, it is. Very well. Should you need any further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out.
Of course. I'll make sure to keep your particular form of assistance in mind.
I'm at your disposal. Now that everybody's awake, I myself am a little peckish and my diet is a little bit more restrictive than yours. Well, turning toward Edwin. I'm going to head on out. He kind of stands up with everybody. Pleasure to make your acquaintances. And he heads to the door.
After he leaves, I know that Maggie is blushed. Who else here is blushed? Is Edwin?
Edwin is very rarely blushed.
Okay. I will be chewing my tongue, waiting on Duncan, and then keeping a close eye on Maggie. From what I can see, she's the only one of us who might have something.
Yeah, I'm scanning the room also. Like, looking at unblush or just obvious signs of hunger. And my gaze will eventually land on Maggie, as she seems to be the only one that has the most.
Do you do anything with that information, or do you... You know what? Actually, here's what I'll do. Both of you gave me a resolve and composure. And we'll move forward from there. Actually, Sophie, you as well.
Not frenzy check, just resolve and composure, right?
Just resolve and composure. Yeah, this isn't you, like, losing control of, like, your person. This is more of a...
Is this a masking thing?
More of a situation where I might, depending on how well you do, inflict a compulsion.
4 successes.
3 successes.
Okay. You guys maintain. You continue. You continue waiting for a while. And then you hear the gymnasium door open. You see Duncan kind of holding a young man's hand, kind of smiling as he brings him into the room. And you see Hodges, who has 2 people following him, but almost kind of like they're not all there. they're just kind of doing as he says. Duncan goes over to Sophie while Hodges looks at two of you. Bon appetit.
I'm not waiting any longer after that.
Nope. Immediately pouncing.
Yes.
Now I need frenzy rolls from anyone who decides to eat.
And that's a third of your humanity, right? Do you round down?
Yes. It's resolve and composure plus a third of your humanity.
It's your unspent willpower.
That's right, unspent willpower.
And then a third humanity.
Which means it's usually +2.
Right.
Unless you're really low or really high.
And you include hunger dice in that, right?
No.
No. Okay.
I got 3 successes. Are you looking it up? I looked it up earlier.
I think it's
with
4, but I'm
with
not
a-
sure. Sorry.
So according to the chart, taste of blood while hunger 4 or higher is 3.
Okay. Then you're
If you fail a rouse check while at hunger 5, it's at 4. It's a 4.
Got it.
So
All
I
right.
also
Let's-
So, Bella and Sophie, you managed to maintain yourself. Great. As soon as you sink your teeth, nothing else in the room exists. It's just slating your hunger. And before long, you feel that you have drawn the last drop. You feel the person quietly just submit to what is happening, and then there's a moment where you feel them beginning to weakly fight you as they've lost too much blood to do anything about it, and then go limp in your arms as you feel them. Drop yourself to 0 hunger.
Well, that's better.
is this person still out of it from Hodges?
They will be out of it until you slake about 3 hunger, and then that's when it'll start starting to paw at you a little bit, maybe. But outside of that,
I'm only slaking 2 right now. If I can control myself. Oh, they're not drugged, right?
no, he just mind fucked both of them and dragged them in there.
They can still be out of it. I'm only taking 2. This is not even the good stuff.
Sophie, how much do you take?
Sophie attempts to take 2, but she's also fairly new at judging how much is in a human.
So you succeeded on your frenzy, so you don't lose control. Do you want to roll to see if you maintain 2, or do you want to do some kind of roll, or do you just want to say you took 3 on accident? What do you want? How do you want to go?
I guess we could. Yeah, we could. What do you think we could roll for that?
You could just give me a composure, just straight composure roll, and if you get 1 success, you can manage.
That was about 50% chance we got it.
Okay. So, you manage to take the 2 hunger. Once you get to that point, Duncan kind of puts his hand on your shoulder, pulls you back a little bit, kind of puts his hand on the dude's cheek. Why don't you just forget everything and just go on home? as he's already guiding him toward the door, and as the individual kind of, kind of smiles and kisses Duncan's cheek, and then goes out the door. Duncan turns around. Okay. We feeling better?
Much. I apologize, Sophie, for earlier. I was a bit snappy.
Is this what we eventually become? You kill someone and then you walk into the sun?
Gray will immediately blush afterwards. Shudder as feels the hunger get slaked. This isn't what we become, this is what we already are. And if you can't come to terms with it, I look down at the body. It'll consume you.
Not all of us choose to walk into the sun. We try to deal with what happens in other ways. I will also blush.
Edwin is still here, correct?
He's kind of seated in the middle of the room, just kind of watching you guys.
Could I ask you a favor, Edwin?
I owe you many.
Well, I have a body to dispose of. Gonna tap the one with my foot. Is that something you could handle?
I think we can manage that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
No need.
With the exception of the regretful loss of Mina. The threat does seem to have been neutralized. Should be safe to return to your homes. Your people should be safe. With the leader dead, we shouldn't have any more issues.
I was a little distracted, but if I heard correctly, you said a few scattered.
If there were any. There's nothing to hold them here other than the task at hand, and the task has failed. Their leader's dead. They won't have the resources to be able to pick anything back up. And as terrifying as his father might be, he has his own problems in Chicago. His son lost to his ambitions, and that's how things ended.
You know, I am quite impressed of those of you that went into that building and came out fine. It must have been very difficult of a fight with how many there were.
But Mr. Beaumont definitely played a big hand in that. And he looks over at Hodges. Mr. Hodges helped a little as well.
Who turned the lights off?
I'm assuming since no one's taking responsibility for that, it must have been Mr. Beaumont. He's not here, so it's the only one that makes sense.
Edwin goes back in his seat.
That would make the most sense.
Sophie will whisper to Maggie and say, Maggie, can you do that?
I'm not quite that powerful yet, but it is a gift within my family.
Well, I suppose we owe him a little more than a small thank you.
So it seems.
Perhaps a gift basket or something like that.
He and his brother are a treat to deal with.
Edwin kind of watches Gray for a moment and then returns to the rest of the group. I do have a couple transports coming up here in order to bring you back to Elysium, and from there you can take the vehicles or whatever it is you left and return to wherever it is you wish. I have already contacted the Harpy and documented the boot.
Thorough. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I will be
Also-
having Dr. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I will be having Dr. Corwin take the bodies of Mina and Alex back to my mortuary for safekeeping until they can be claimed.
I think that's acceptable.
So, give Cahill our thanks for taking out the hunters.
Yes, I put him on the roof the moment I heard that there were hunters in the Pacific. Sounds like he took care of that.
There was also interference with our communication for Gray and Matt. Was that us or them?
Chicago does have some pretty impressive resources, particularly job lead. It's possible that he had something to cause interference.
So if they were hunters, they must have had a haven of some kind. Has that been uncovered?
Not quite, but now that we have their bodies, we might be able to find something on their person, some kind of trail that we can go back and follow.
And if you need any assistance with that, I am at your disposal.
Well, of course, appreciate it. I'll definitely consider it. Hopefully, though, that won't be necessary. You have done enough as it is.
Yeah. In that case, you're taking a few evenings off, I suppose.
Well earned, I'd say.
I have a few things I need to get in order, so yes.
With all the activities that have happened previous night, may I look all of you over to make sure nothing has attached itself to you?
I don't have a problem with it.
Attached itself? How do you mean?
Spirits can occasionally attach themselves to people, things.
Oh, good. I thought you were talking about undead ticks.
Well, they are bloodsuckers.
Honestly, no, I don't have any reservations about it, but if you feel it's absolutely necessary, I wouldn't want to put you out.
It would make me more comfortable, yes, but I wouldn't want to put any of you under undue scrutiny without your consent.
This thing that you're going to do, it just looks for spirits.
Yes. It tells me if you are a fetter.
No, I have no problem with this whatsoever. Gray will immediately drop into the mask that he usually wears as he is internally panicking, Devil.
Okay.
Would you be able to see Nicholas?
If we have souls, it is a possibility. But I am unsure if we have souls. It'd be interesting if we did.
I can't speak to the nature of a soul, but I do know there were instances in the past where we were encountering dead kindred for the manipulation of mages.
Interesting. I'll have to pick your brain more about that later, Mr. Kane.
That wasn't my specialty, but I will do what I can.
I understand, but you have to understand my curiosity.
Of course.
Okay.
You know, it may be more appropriate to do this someplace we all could consider safe. Perhaps, given everything that's occurred, look to Sophie. It's more appropriate to invite you to that safe space. Maybe it can be done there. Yes.
If that makes you more comfortable.
Certainly. And I think bringing you into the family, so to speak. There's quite a bit that we've accomplished together. Lives on the line and all.
I agree.
I'm alright.
I mean, neither of you, well, Sophie had a dog in the fight, but you didn't, Maggie, and that's respectable. Also, I like Sophie.
I greatly appreciate you, Maggie, for helping with this situation, and especially to think of looking for wayward spirits that might be haunting us. That's very clever and wonderful for you to check for that.
They can attach themselves to the darndest of things.
Well, then maybe you could also use your talents to make sure that whatever's left of Nick hasn't attached itself to our safe space.
Oh, that would be
Okay.
miserable with him moping around. Whole place would stink of cigars the whole time.
I can look over your haven. But I want to make sure that all of you are unattached before looking over living spaces.
Of course, of course. I'm no expert in any of how this works.
What happened to the ward we gave Nick?
Assuming
with
he was
him?
wearing it at the time.
That's a shame.
Yes, it is. I'll have to explain about that later. Very well. I do have some things to attend to. I trust you are fine for the remainder of the evening.
Well, after the
Edmund,
transportation, I'm sure we can see to ourselves.
It should be understood.
don't
Yep.
you want Maggie to look over you for spirits?
That's unnecessary. If I have spirits following around, they have not been a problem so far.
Yes, and they wouldn't be able to make it inside of your Elysium grounds.
Also true, I live in the most warded place in the city. So, with that, I will leave you to it. And I assure you I will not have as much work for you moving forward. I promise it'll be a much lighter load.
That's almost a shame.
He chuckles, bows his head, and he steps out. Hodges watches him leave, then turns back to the rest of you. You get into a lot of trouble.
I like to think that trouble finds me, unfortunately.
He totally finds trouble.
I wouldn't listen to her. She's trouble.
That's not a lie.
I'm going to see if that ride's here.
Yeah.
Head towards the exit, step outside.
What is the address for this safe house you've spoken of?
Bella, you can give it to them.
Sure. I'll be writing it down. Sophie, I did say I apologize for interrupting. I believe you had a conversation with Mr. Hodges.
Oh, yes, I assumed he was leaving for good. I was just saying that we would need to meet to maybe resettle disagreement, as I heard that you may have had a large ignition of the event.
I shot the man that was holding your brother.
Yes, how accurate are shotguns?
Duncan, sir, did I shoot you? No, you didn't. It was disturbingly loud, but no, I was not shot. Well, then I think I held man to the bargain. I do believe it was help get Duncan out.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Well, then I think I did that quite well. At the cost of my own arm, even. But if you wish to renegotiate terms, you know where I live.
Yes, well, perhaps I'll see you about that.
I look forward to it. As for the rest of you, enjoy your evening. And he turns and he goes to leave.
Is Grace still walking out?
Yes.
Okay, as he's leaving, she's going to activate the binding fetter. It's free.
Okay.
Blood surging. Got hungrier. It's a wits in oblivion.
Mhm.
Or
Okay. Give me what's in oblivion.
4.
4. Okay. He is very hurriedly stepping out of space. But as he does leave, something does seem to be radiating from him, and some fact that you do see there is something clinging. He just doesn't stay long enough for you to get much more than that, but there is something there.
Okay.
I'll hand off the addresses to Maggie and Sophie.
Thank you, and don't worry about earlier. My father was always quite the bit of cranky after his third scotch, so I grew up used to that sort of thing.
I hope it was only words. I'm guessing it's not. I understand.
Yes, well, he was from a different time.
That's an excuse they like to give, isn't it? I'll squeeze her shoulder. Thank you. We should go wait for the car.
Maggie will take the address, and blink and her eyes will return to them without the reflections in her irises. Thank you.
As
It has been a long couple of days.
Indeed.
you guys head to the door, you step outside. We'll shift over for a moment. Gray, you go outside. You're waiting for the cars that haven't quite arrived yet. You do see Edwin has started walking south.
Moves to catch up to Edwin.
Gray, did you do something?
I wanted to talk to you, honestly.
He already has a very, proper demeanor he carries himself in, but he almost becomes rigid when you say this. Very well.
You walking anywhere in particular? I mean, if you mind the company, I'm not going to make you take it.
He looks back at the building. I was just going to walk back to the belly. I haven't actually walked to this place in a long time. I don't know, the evening has made me nostalgic.
Well, if you don't mind the company, I could walk with you.
Sure, we can talk. He turns and continues. What's on your mind?
You are incredibly gifted, sir.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The darkness. The shadows. You have a talent.
You saw me at breakfast?
I witnessed Rutgers being choked, and I saw you talking to him. That does not mean they are one and the same thing.
So, what happens now?
Well, I think I made it clear that I'm not going to expose you. That was Beaumont who did all of that, as far as I'm concerned.
Why are you protecting me?
Because you have access, Edwin. You have access that I need. You can do things that I can't. And I have plans that go much deeper than the animosity that I have felt for you. And yes, to be honest, I have several nights wished that the worst would befall you.
Fair enough. You said you need something I have access to. What is that?
You may not know the magic yourself, but you have access to those who can teach. And I need a tutor. Discreet.
I have been denied access to the Chantry.
But that doesn't mean that you don't have other contacts. Doesn't have to be local.
What do you need?
I'm pursuing a bit of my own studies. And I need a tutor to get me started. Some blood would help, to be honest. A kickstart. There's some spark that has been eluding me. And without that, I don't think I'm going to find it.
Blood's the easy part. Okay. I'm not one to deny people information. I can get you the blood you need. And I can show you some introductory things if it is something you still wish to pursue. I will have to get somebody more impressive afterward. But I can begin the process.
That would be fantastic.
It would be simple if I could give you my blood. But I cannot.
Certainly.
But I can find somebody. It wouldn't be too difficult. It would just take a little time.
So does this really mean you're one of the shadows?
I've been a loyal member of Clan Tremere for a very long time.
Edwin, you were my favorite, but now you have my heart.
I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it. You don't happen to have any other cities, like Chicago, that can come looking for you?
I still operate. Well, I still have some operations in Tampa, but they don't have any issue with me.
If they do somehow sour, I'm at your disposal.
Well, it won't be long. I've actually been moving things out. I have reason to believe that Tampa has bigger problems than me.
Oh? What kind of problems are we talking about? Or is that asking too much?
I just don't have a solid confirmation yet.
Big enough that security isn't necessarily what it should be for them.
I'm not sure they can have enough security. Hopefully, it stays over there.
Interesting. You know, it's only a bridge between here and there, right? Unless they come around a long way through the Anarchs.
Which is true. I don't want to cause any unnecessary speculation. I'm not making any moves until I know for sure. But, well. Just keep an eye out for Howling.
Well, told you before, your secrets are safe with. They will remain that way. It's a nice night, though.
It is.
Honestly, it's good to have my head clear for once in a very, very long time.
Yes, admittedly, this has been all very, very distracting.
Then let's get back to business as usual.
Wouldn't have it any other way. You continue walking toward St. Or you can't. You'll shift back. You guys step outside. The cars have pulled up. You have a couple of individuals standing outside waiting for you to approach. They'll open the door for you when you do. It's two cars. Duncan kind of clings to Sophie, following. Hodge is already gone. What cars do you get? Are you all ride together, or are you splitting up? Rather.
I mean, I'll ride with them.
I'll ride with them.
Where?
Because my normal ride went back to the mortuary with a bunch of bodies.
Right. You guys get in a car. The other guy kind of looks. The guy in the other car looks over toward the second. I thought there was just two more in them, and dude shrugs, closes the door, gets in the driver's seat, begins to pull off. You guys recognize this is one of the guards who work for the Elysium. You are free to speak if you wish to have a scene. Otherwise, we can go ahead and move everybody toward the ascent.
Maggie.
Hmm.
How willing are you to share information about your magic?
It depends on the question. You can ask whatever you like. I'll tell you honestly if I can't answer it, or if I'm not comfortable answering it.
Can you use cell phones?
Yes.
Okay. Other than the dead side, how do you know much about the dark and the shadows part?
The dead side is kind of the part of the dark and the shadows that I'm aware of. I know there's another branch of it, but it is not part of my studies.
Okay. I suppose that would end my line of questioning. I found some interesting devices that I think was used by a death mage. If I were to bring them to you, do you think you could help me figure out maybe what they did? They're not complete. They're not.
I would, even if I'm not able to figure it out, I would love to study them. That sounds fascinating.
Excellent. We could work together on studying them.
Just a question. Death mage is what would that be?
I would also be curious as to what that is.
The driver?
Duncan.
Oh,
So,
Duncan.
yes, okay.
From what I understand, the city, before I came, like, I think a year or two before I came, I'm not sure exactly the time, was plagued by someone a human, who knew how to wield magic, death magic in particular, and he plagued the city with a bunch of spirits.
Duncan, you know how much I appreciate you. But you didn't tell me about hunters or harpies. Or now they're apparently humans that can use magic. And they said that it would be too much for there to be aliens.
I can't speak to aliens. Harpies are not... It's just a title within the court of Coterie City. I didn't know about mages. And hunters have never been a problem for me, so I don't really give them much thought.
Why would they choose a title like Harpy? I'm sure that they have Duchess or a Baron.
Barons used for anarchs.
Mm-hmm.
They took
From
that
what
title.
From what I recall, Harpy was originally a derogatory term for what they are. That they tend to keep books, spread rumors.
Oh, so they're a librarian.
Socially, they are a social librarian.
More of a bookkeeper.
How do you have a state of anarchy with barons? How does that work exactly?
According to Edwin, the barons that are near here are very... He used very colorful language, but he finds them to be very cowardly and don't hold up to actual anarch values. They just seem to want to cling to what the Camarilla has built and not actually do anything.
Honestly think the term came from robber barons of the past. Someone who gains control over a group through might.
Yeah, so like a feudal system.
Things are not much different on either side. By the way, you two...
Sorry, go ahead, please.
You two are siblings, right?
Would we?
In
a manner of speaking. Same side.
I have a brother too, I just found out.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. He's fun.
Yes.
Family's always good to have around.
Absolutely. I'm glad you kind of touched your feet. I'm very glad that you're okay. I was very worried that when they sent you that message, you were going to go back and they might grab you.
Yes, I speak with you about that later, but also, why did you go off on a suicidal mission like that?
It wasn't supposed to be suicidal. It was supposed to be to just find some information about these people from Chicago and come back. I took a vested interest because, well, I found out who was working with them. But he found me before I could really get any clear information. And Edwin said that it would clear the debt that I owed the city for, well, bringing us in.
Well, thank you, Duncan, for taking that initiative, but next time you have a mission like that, please just let me know so that I might help if I can in any way. Or tell you if it's a stupid idea.
I do appreciate the concern, but you haven't got... Well, I didn't want to rob you of the opportunity to learn about where you live and how you will be living moving forward. And if I had told you that, I would have just had you worrying the entire time. And it looks like, he turns toward the others, it looks like you have made some acquaintances. And he goes, I'm terribly sorry. You can call me Duncan, and I didn't get your names. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Bellatrix. It's a pleasure.
Maggie. Pleasure.
I am from Chicago, which is part of the reason that I was asked to go investigate these individuals. I suspect that I had concern. Personal information, don't really want to go into too much detail, but I had reason to believe that there was something of a personal nature to their presence here. I found out that was only partially the case, and I do thank you for saving me. And then he turns back towards Sophie, which we need to have a discussion later about you taking on debts in order to help me.
I haven't taken on any boons.
No, but I saw what this Mr. Hodges did. Both at the facility and getting food. You don't have to issue a boon with that individual. I advise caution doing anything with them, and I'd steer clear if I could.
Alright, that does seem like good advice. He did have quite tasty beverages, though there was maybe a touch too much radon and potassium, but they tasted like pumpkin, which I haven't had that before.
You should ask Gray about that.
I'm a bit nervous about Mr. Novak, actually. He did not seem very fazed after completely draining someone. Is that an often occurrence?
Not for Gray. Gray usually tries to keep control over himself. This was extenuating circumstances. Usually he
Gray.
picks on me.
Gray is the jumpy fellow who ran out of the gymnasium as soon as he could.
Yes, the pretty one.
Okay.
He also hides his feelings. He may be feeling a way about it and just didn't want anybody to know.
Yes, unfortunately, many men tend to do that.
True.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps he's just upset with the situation with Nicholas.
Perhaps. I do need to get you a meeting with Charlie, the Primogen, still. Now this is all over, I think I can arrange it.
That would be wonderful. I would appreciate that greatly.
Yes, the Primogen. I need to meet with them as well.
You can let her know that both of you wish to meet.
I can wait if it'd be in the position.
She likes meeting us. Family.
Edwin did say there was a particular unique bond in this city with the Malkavians. Very well.
You say that like you aren't one.
Yes, I am one. Just a little, we'll say detached. As of, until lately, anyway. Recently. Yes.
Usually a tight-knit group, so to speak. I mean, there are others that do their own things that aren't part of our coterie, but we had quite a few. Myself and Nick. Now perhaps Sophie. But she's very supportive of us, and she likes to check in. Charlie, that is.
Then I should very much look forward to meeting her. As he says that, you catch his eye very quickly shift to the side. Driver, please stop. The car comes to a halt. Turns back to Sophie. I'm gonna have to get out of here. I will find you soon, and we can have a conversation.
Yes, please.
I've missed you terribly. I look forward to seeing you soon. And again, pleasure meeting the two of you. Give Ray my regards. And he steps out, and he closes the door.
Oh, wait. Before he closes
Yes.
the door, Sophie will reach over and hug him.
He hands you back. He smiles and pulls away. I will see you soon. He steps out. Pleasure making your acquaintances. Give Gray my regards. And he closes the door.
Where did we stop? Because I'm looking out the window.
You stopped. You guys have now kind of crossed back into like Camria territory. You haven't quite made it to your domain yet.
Mm-hmm.
You're about a mile, maybe half a mile to a mile out, and then he begins walking east from the car.
Yeah. I hope we make it home soon. Everything's so loud.
How so?
Stars talk to me, and they're very loud right now.
How do you usually quiet them?
Special tea that helps.
After just a few more moments of driving, you enter the domain, make your way, and are dropped off at the ascent. I will say, for the sake of just kind of time, as you guys are there, a little while later, Gray will arrive, having been picked up after walking for a time and brought back to location. You step inside, and I will give you guys a scene. All four of you are present.
Oh, good evening, beautifuls. I hope everyone else had a great time tonight. Kind of flop down on the couch, throw his feet up.
Did your walk clear your head?
Quite a bit, actually. I feel like my head actually cleared most of the way right after I finally got the monkey off my back. Such a good feeling.
Was it a spirit monkey?
No, I certainly hope not.
Well, Maggie could check.
That she could, and I suppose he will sit up, hold his arms out. Go for it.
And she's going to look over everyone this time. And a blood search? Can't see if he's nodded or shook his head no. Was that a yes or no?
I was muted. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you! Okay. Three successes. Spent a willpower.
So, who do you look at first?
She's going to start with Gray since he presented himself. And then she's going to let her stare drift over to Bella and then to Sophie. And then a general sweep over the shop.
So, just to double check, you're using the Fetter ability.
Yes,
To
the
see if
binding
there's
fetter.
Okay.
If she sees them, that will influence her next actions, which I will tell as that goes.
Gotcha. There is something that seems to be clinging to each one of them. Not an object so much than themselves. You notice that, say if you were looking at this as like it was producing some kind of aura or light in some capacity, the rest of them seem, Sophie and Gray seem to have some kind of radiating about them, like it's just a constant presence. But then when you look at Bellatrix, It's almost like you were shining light through a prism. Seems to be fractured and looking in different directions.
Like there were multiple?
Hard to tell. This is rather unique for you.
Okay. She will concentrate on Gray and on Sophie. And when she turns to Bellatrix, her eyes widen a little and she steps back.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Looks like someone's haunted.
Oh no, all of you are.
Oh.
But you're a prism. I've never seen anything like it before. I can't imagine what you've been through to have those kind of connections. And she will deactivate Binding Fetter and activate Oblivion Sight to see if any of those spirits are around them.
Okay. You see on... We'll start with Gray. Oh wait, let me double check the abilities I roll for this. So
It's
Oblivion.
free to activate, but I can't remember the exact role, and I don't remember which one it's in.
It's in the player's guide. You said Oblivion Sight, right?
Yes. Player's guide.
It's... Okay, I'm going to do just one roll for this because there are a couple that will try to obfuscate themselves from you. So give me Wits and Oblivion.
Okie dokie. Got a blood surge again. Alright, I burnt a willpower. I got 4 successes with a possible bestial fail.
Okay. So, first you look over at Gray. You don't see anything immediately, but as you focus, you see a couple of shapes. Nothing clear, but there are a few, roughly 3 shadows that all seem to be kind of sitting directly about him. And you can see those shadows seem to be creeping almost like a hand on the shoulder. But the one in the center, this shadow that you're seeing casts over his neck. when you look over at Sophie, you see a woman who seems to resemble maybe like an older Sophie, who seems to be kind of doesn't clock you in any capacity. She just seems to be sitting back and just watching Sophie with a very intent, kind of gaunt expression. She's kind of like a little taller and it's almost like she's standing and peering over her, looking down. Her hair kind of hanging down and draping over her face, her eyes sunken in, but it does resemble Sophie. And then you look over at Bellatrix. There is no attempt to hide so much. As much as you were using the ability to try to clean up what it is that you're seeing. You just see one entity that seems to be standing over Bellatrix. And for the most part, it looks like Bellatrix, but it seems to be constantly shaking, almost vibrating in place. And occasionally, it's almost as if someone is taking a piece of loose thread off of her face, yanking it off to the side, and when this happens, the face rips backward, revealing some other person's face. You see a woman. At one point, it looks like a couple of them flicker, and you can see some crude mimicry of some psycho. Oh, you met Alexi the other night. And a couple of other rips. Finally, there's a point where it kind of shunts forward, and you see this weird, dark presence that looks like it's hooded, kind of like a resemblance of a reaper. And then there's the vibrant blast of color, and it looks like Bellatrix again. And this just continues, the constant ripping and showing of different forms and faces, all being forced and pushed back into becoming Bellatrix.
Gotcha. Again, as she will focus to concentrate to get a visual of the various spirits she sees around Gray and Sophie. It seems to be easier for her to take in what she sees from Sophie's, and there's a look of concern when she sees the way Gray's are. But as she looks to Bella's again, there's a look of fascination, but also worry and mild confusion. And then there's a squint from the very bright flash of light. And she blinks a couple of times. And she deactivates her Oblivion sight, that inky black sinking back into her irises, and takes a very unnecessary breath. I would possibly in the near or not near future so that we all have time to get over what has happened recently. I would like to have conversations privately with each of you, if that is okay.
So if we're all haunted, and I'm assuming the way you reacted to Bella, not all hauntings are the same, which one of us is the worst?
Worst is, it depends on perception.
Well, you're the one seeing it, so it's your perception.
My perception is that hauntings are incredibly personal and private, and I don't want to air out anything in front of each other unless all of you are comfortable with that.
You want to tell ghost stories, Bella?
Nah, I'm good.
What about you, Sophie? Ghost stories?
Well, I mean, how dangerous does it look?
Danger is again subjective, but you don't usually want to have one near you because or one that you can't control around, because the longer they stay on this plane, the more volatile they get.
Volatile how? How volatile? Say, after a decade or so.
It depends on what you feed it.
Hmm.
There are things called passions that wraiths can eat or take that make them more powerful. The more emotive a spirit is, the more dangerous they can be.
The more they get fed, the better they could communicate.
It depends on how they died, their motivations, whether... There's a lot of factors.
What if they had a particularly violent passing?
That is one way they tend to stick around. Usually, if they don't receive their own closure, they will find it through other means, or he kind of takes a breath but doesn't really continue the thought.
Closure, what does that look like?
For example, it can be fulfilling last wishes. It can be a conversation. It can be simple things. It can be difficult things. It can be tasks. It can be something as simple as taking something that mattered to them and throwing it out into the ocean.
But what happens to them after the closure?
They pass on. They go on to their next steps.
What sort of next steps?
It is unsure.
Is it possible to prevent this?
Prevent passing on.
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, hell waits on the other side, doesn't it? I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone.
There is no certain way to know what is on the other side and waiting. Death is another journey just like the one that we have walked.
So there's no way of telling if, like, souls can be reborn.
That is certainly one of the theories of part of the journey afterwards. I can't say for certain what happens when someone has passed on. There are many ideals and thoughts and speculation of what happens to especially human souls.
Well, I like to believe that rebirth happens all the time.
That is certainly a nice thought. I enjoy the theory of reincarnation. If someone does not finish what they have started here, I like to think that they would get another chance to continue.
You don't see it as a truth.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Absolutes are very hard to deal in when you are walking a line of death and life.
But death is an absolute.
Death is a step.
But every step is an absolute.
Once you've made it. What you see is a perception. It is a reflection of light. You know nothing until you make this step.
I suppose it's up to us individually to remove the veils that have been cast over our eyes, then.
Yes.
What would it take to find out for sure if reincarnation exists?
I'm not sure what it would take.
Insight, knowledge, faith.
Experience, I would think.
I'd be happy to speak with you privately.
Thank you.
As for now, though, I think I'm going to leave. Like I said, things are very loud, and I'd like them to be quiet. Good evening, all.
Have a wonderful night, Bella.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing me us your safe space. And I look forward to all of our private conversations.
As safe as it can be. Edwin's been here a few times, so.
Yes, thank you
Hope
again
you-
for inviting me to your home. It is quite lovely, especially the pillows.
And the art was all done by Matt. He is quite talented. But he does require that if you are going to be smoking in any way, shape, or form, it be done out on the balcony.
Let's see. And I do not smell any cigars.
I'll point to the case over there. He's locked them up. But I guess Nick's not here.
He didn't come back for his cigars. I guess they weren't that important to him after all.
Maybe he got reincarnated.
That would be interesting. Good evening. I am getting a little peckish myself. I'm going to head back to my own abode.
With that, we are going to take a break. Thank you for tagging along so far. We will see you back in about 5 minutes.
coming back. So let me drink the red to cure the poison in my head, so I can rest in my deathbed. So crucify me, hypnotize me, and leave me wondering, am I the underling? I could step aside, I could end this life, but this disease, it won't release, it won't be cured by the knife. I can bleed, don't be deceived, 'cause I am so far from alive. I guess I'm never coming back. Going on death.
Thank you for waiting, and welcome back. Last we left off, the group had finally made their way back to the ascent. They talked for a bit, discovered there might be some passengers tagging along for the ride. Promising to come back to that conversation later, they separated. Went to go about cleaning things up after everything that's happened. So we're going to see what they're doing over the next week. Starting with Bellatrix and Gray. What are you guys doing this evening?
Bella is going to go to Matt's gallery to check up on him.
That's exactly what Gray is going to do as well.
You make your way to Matt. You approach the entrance. You've been trying to get a hold of him, shoot him a text, or finally coming up and knocking on his door. And much like the text, there's no response.
Fancy meeting you here.
Indeed, I guess we both had the same thoughts.
I mean, at least I had the decency to mourn in public.
You did. You moped in public. I'm a little worried about him.
I don't think he's going to walk into the sun.
No, I don't think that, but I kind of like having him around. And I don't know if this is going to make him leave.
Well, it's obvious he's not going to answer, so you got plans this evening.
Not anymore. She'll take his arm. So, where do you want to go?
I think we go for a walk. See the
Alright.
sights, visit our people, you know, before all the nonsense started. Something we do regularly.
I like that idea.
Matt did say, you know, his thing was betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be the same after this.
No, I don't think so.
He'll probably end up blaming you and me, too.
We didn't betray him, though.
I know what I would do if I was in his place.
Well, I guess we deal with it. I mean, we could go the completely long route of ignoring the issue and just letting it build and build and cause a schism where an actual betrayal happens. Or we
That
talk.
sounds interesting. Maybe?
I suppose.
No. I mean, I feel awful. I told him that I was going to do everything I could and that we were going to rescue her.
I
knew
said
how
I'd do
he
what I could.
felt.
yet, we still failed because of Nick.
I don't even understand what happened. I don't.
He lost control. I saw it. He had lost control. Most likely he wanted to be the savior and went to save her, but he wasn't. He wasn't at his best in the first place with everything that was going on. He was shattering.
Right.
You know, it's why we call, right?
I saw his face at the end. It was he wasn't there anymore. He was
Gone.
either inside or outside, but he wasn't home. Tried to make him come back, but whatever Lyndon was powerful.
I feel like this was something that had been... It happens with our families sometimes. The madness is too much. And it breaks some of us. To a point that it's just not even possible for them to function. And I think that was something that was... Maybe Lyndon had been trying to stave it off, and then in Nick trying to find out more about what had happened to him and his memories, he reopened that whole thing.
You know the story of a prophet who was taken into heaven?
No, I didn't really go to Bible school. Sorry. Too busy. Cults. Mental asylums. Dutch.
I'd like to think that's what happened near the end.
A nice dream. You should keep it.
I talked to Edwin,
Oh?
kind of level set with him about things. Explained that I was not necessarily his best friend, but
And
that
you
we
are
could
now?
fix things.
So you don't want to know I may have dirt on him.
Oh no, I would definitely want to know the dirt.
I don't know it yet, that's the problem. I have a hard drive, but Nick's dead, so he can't do the thing that he usually does, so I had to find someone else. Unfortunately, that someone else wants to pet a puppy.
Pet a puppy.
Right, not eat a puppy, but pet a puppy. And that is... I don't know how to deal with dogs or animals.
Well, I don't know how to deal with dogs or animals either. However, I do know that there's a certain family that does know how to deal with those. I could ask around, maybe make some deals,
I like that idea.
maybe get you a puppy.
Now, or at least keep the puppy calm long enough to be petted.
I mean, if I could tell a human what to do, I could tell a puppy what to do, right?
I think it's a bit different. They kind of go crazy.
What if we got gabapentin? Whole lot of it.
That might work. I mean, it still has to be alive, I think. I think he wants it a living puppy, but maybe if we got that and just calmed it
Oh,
down.
it has to be a living puppy. You didn't
I'm-
specify that part.
I'm pretty sure.
Uh,
And I'd rather not piss him off.
And after they deal with this hard drive thing, whatever that is, that's got this information on it, then
I'll
we're
share.
going to have what exactly?
Okay, so while I was showing Sarah around near our territory, I came across this hidden door, like hidden by magic. It had a bunch of like symbols across it that made it invisible, except for those who could see it. And when I went in, I found some interesting stuff, like a computer that apparently had been spying on the Dolly for a while. It's old, there was a bunch of dust, so whoever was doing it, possibly Ben's, possibly someone else, hadn't been there in a while.
Forgive me, none of those things are really my forte, but computers can spy on people.
I think so, yeah. Through cameras.
Oh, the cameras were doing the spying. That's different. It's all over the news about how there's all sorts of intelligent computers now, and thought we were worrying about computers actively spying on us.
No, I don't think it's smart.
Okay.
So I packed up what was there, and I was going to take it to Nick, but then Nick was in his... Well, then Alex attacked, and things went down, and so I couldn't take it to Nick. So I found someone else. A close relation. Not Al.
How close? Oh, okay. How close?
He's my brother.
Oh, so another Al.
Sure, you could say that.
It's not a bad thing. He's very good at what he does. And if your brother is anywhere near as good as him, then
He's apparently famous in those circles. At least he said he was.
what circles?
The clickety-clackety get into stuff with computer stuff,
You can get famous from computers.
apparently.
How?
I guess do it good enough.
I mean, you can record a few videos and put them up on some social media, right? But getting famous from typing on computers? Come on.
He does it like breaking into computers, but not like Lakar does. Like Lakar physically breaks into stuff. Like what Truck was doing when we were cleaning up stuff.
Matt is an artiste.
Hmm.
And whatever Nick did with those computers, I don't really understand. I just let him do his thing. But I still doubt you can get famous from it.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hear of him before I met him, but he said he was interested. He was famous, so he looked almost disappointed that I didn't know. Sad, really.
But a puppy.
Yeah, he wants a puppy and donuts and a latte.
And donuts.
He has a thing for donuts. Like I have a thing for tea. Maybe
Can
it's a
he
family
actually
thing.
eat them?
I don't know, honestly. I never asked.
And the latte? Can he actually drink?
Don't know. But you know what? If that's all he asked for, I'm gonna give it to him. Like I said, the puppy is the most complicated thing because you don't want it to freak out if he pets it.
Well, I'll see what I can do about uncomplicating that. I'm gonna see who I can visit. There's a few things that happened the other night that have made me reassess what would be necessary should Edwin become a danger. And one of those things is needing to be able to see in the dark. I mean, the dark.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That was Edwin, by the way. You keep that under your hat.
I'm
it
good at
gets
keeping
out,
secrets.
I know you are, but if it gets out, I will eat you.
Ooh. I
I
will.
I will eat your shards.
Fair. I won't tell anyone. I'll keep it to us. Besides, if he could do that, does that mean he is not a Tremere? Because I've been wondering this for a while, and I've been trying to research it, but it's very difficult.
No, he's true blue, 100%. I think he's just given himself to studying a different discipline.
Don't they don't the groups that do that like I know Maggie's very hush hush about some things.
Well, that's why I'd like to keep this between us.
It'll stay between us. I won't even tell Al.
Good. Even though he's going to know anyways.
Yeah, he probably already knows.
But I don't think there's anything he didn't already know. So,
Right. Who are you after your loss?
I'm 100% firing on all cylinders. Perfect and absolutely a mess.
More of a mess than usual?
Well, enough that I'm not walking around like a corpse anymore. But without Edwin giving us something to do, I honestly fear the next few nights. I don't want to be... I'd rather have something to focus on, immediate, than having to deal with me.
What about Victor? I thought you still were with him.
Yeah, but Victor's hard. Difficult to crack. I have a plan, but it's taking time because this stupid publicist or whoever it is won't meet with me. I crack that nut, then I can get to Victor. He doesn't understand. You don't have to make things ugly to make them beautiful. There is beauty in ugliness, for certain, but you don't have to create ugliness. You can beautify it.
Like that concept.
And really, most beauty is in the stripping away of naivety. When someone is aware and awake and all of the little veils get ripped from their eyes, and that moment of just pure enlightenment that strikes them, there is nothing more beautiful than that. And often it takes a tragedy for that to occur. And he doesn't get that. He's just like, oh, I'm just going to find someone and completely mar them so I can make them ugly, and then I'm going to make them beautiful and take pictures of it. It's like, you're better than this. You have more talent than this. Like,
Yeah.
He's stuck in a rut. I'm not going to bore you by talking about Victor all night.
You're not wrong about the insight.
It must have been a really beautiful moment for you.
I saw 1,000 worlds. Then I shattered.
Always comes with tragedy.
Yeah. Well, I guess in keeping busy, why don't we do something for the neighborhood?
I like that. What do you want to do?
Well, we've kind of sparked up the nightlife, but we could always, use a little more influence, I suppose. Got any ideas?
I might have a few ideas, actually.
I'd love to hear them.
Oh, then I think we're gonna make a night of it.
Excellent. Are we gonna do acid and steal a tank though? It's a song I heard.
I was going to
It's
say, do you
stuck in
know
my
where a
head.
tank is?
No, but if we ever find one, I want to try it.
So one thing we might do, if you're into the risks, cross the bridge over into Tampa, get a little bite to eat, come back.
Okay. Quick.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay. How would you approach this?
Well, I think we're going to get a cab and head over across the bridge. Not into downtown, just on the other side. This not suicidal, just no. Sure,
Right on
we're
the border. Right on the
on
border.
the border.
How are you going to find food?
Do you want to hunt, or should I?
I like to watch you work. You do it.
All right.
But I'll help if you want.
Heading towards, or get the cab to an area that is at least has some nightlife, not a whole lot. And I'm gonna go about my usual trolling to see if I can pull something for Bella and I.
So you want to use your typical method.
Yes.
Go ahead and use your typical.
What's your role?
It is. 8 dice.
Well, no, what's the what skills?
Oh, charisma and subterfuge.
I can assist. I do have a dot in subterfuge, at least.
I will take it. Three successes. Damn shame.
You find someone. Looks like they've been out partying for a little while. Heading away from the deeper kind of downtown area, making their way, probably to a couple, like their apartments, heading toward complex. A couple of young women kind of by themselves. You hear them giggling and stuff as they're walking down the road.
Excuse me, ladies. I'm a little lost. Could you give me some directions? Trying to find, kind of fumble with my phone. Trying to find this place.
They kind of look at your phone for a moment, kind of squint at it. I'm sorry, I have no idea what's on your screen right now.
Oh, well, then I suppose there's not much that you could do to help me. It's I have no idea where I'm at, and honestly, my GPS doesn't work.
The one who is kind of holding the other one up a little bit more than she's getting support. Where are you trying to go?
There's supposed to be this like club downtown or something. I can't. name was it's escaped me, like Waterfall or something like that.
Okay, yeah. If you just I mean, if you just get downtown, you'll find it without a problem. And she kind of she turns for a moment, kind of takes a second to kind of realize where she is, and we just came from downtown. If you just go up that way, you'll eventually find a whole bunch of people, and then you're probably there.
At that point, I will smile and nod and to point the direction that they're pointing. Could you mind just showing me the way through here, through the street?
Yeah, no problem. And they kind of sway a bit as they spin around, and they begin to attempt to guide you. What do you do from here?
Catch Bella's eye.
Step up, so that we're both surrounding them. Or sandwiching them, basically.
And I will grab one and pull her to the side. Kind of lock eyes with her. Relax. Use compel.
Immediately she relaxes.
Oh, grab the other one. You're really beautiful, do you know that?
You're really beautiful.
Thank you. Can I kiss you?
Oh, okay.
I'll kiss her, and then trail down on her neck, and then bite.
Okay. How much hunger do you guys like?
1.
Yeah, just a single point.
Okay. You get your fill, kind of pull back.
Forget me.
I'll spin the other one around so the Bella can see her as well.
You should forget both of us, and I'll activate cloud memory for both of them. Or each of them.
They both immediately go into a daze for a moment.
And at that point, making a run.
Yep. Like 2 giggling children.
Yep.
Okay. As you flee the scene of the crime and make your way back to St. Pete, we will shift the scene. What are Maggie and Sophie up to?
So, since this is a conversation about Sophie's stuff, Maggie would probably ask to meet her somewhere she would be comfortable.
Sophie would suggest probably in her currently closed bar and apartment, Books and Bourbon.
Sophie, the first time you made your way back to Books and Bourbon after everything happened, it doesn't look like a massacre had taken place here. There's no yellow tape. All of the furniture seems to have been restored. The only thing that seems to jump out at you is that there are a couple of books that are no longer in your public collection. You do find a box that is set upstairs, not intruding onto any other space than at the top of the stairs, where there are some shredded books or books that were ruined through just saturation. With the exception of that box, this place looks like it normally did.
Sophie will take the box into her room and then walk down the stairs, a little upset but trying to focus on more important things for now, and she'll take a seat at the empty bar, wait for Maggie.
Is this place particularly difficult to find? Okay. Then I'll say that Dr. Corwin probably dropped her off there. She probably told him that she would walk back. She hasn't gotten to know the city a little bit. Is the front locked?
It would be, but if you knock on the door, Sophie will come open it and open it for you to come in.
Yep, there's just a light knock with the back of her knuckles.
Hi, good evening, Maggie. Thank you for coming to meet me.
Thank you for being so willing to speak with me about this.
Oh yes, it seems very important, especially if, like you said, spirits can do quite a bit of damage. Here, have a seat on one of the stools.
Maggie will take a seat and look around. This place is cute.
Yes, well, it's even cuter when it has people in it.
Did you close this down just for our conversation, or?
It hasn't been opened yet after what happened.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for your loss of business, then.
Oh, don't worry. It's actually going to be quite an event. There's just some extended planning. But yes, it'll all work out fine.
I'm sure it will.
But yes, now to this the spirits that you discussed. I was wondering, I mean, is it a man or a woman who seems to be haunting?
It is an older woman. She looks very similar to you.
So not a young woman with black coiled hair?
No. Did you know someone that looked like that?
Oh, well, an older me, I mean, I could only really think of my mother, but I wasn't around for her passing, so I'm not sure how she could have sought me out.
Mothers are frequently very attached to their children, especially their daughters when they bear such similar resemblance.
I do know she happened to burn down the family estate while I was away.
That's interesting. Was she known to have such episodes?
I wouldn't say episode. I mean, it was a difficult time. There was the war, and you know, after the first war, which was supposed to be the great one to end everything, and then there was another one. And it's terribly boring for someone with a lot of ideas to be stuck in a society that puts so many pressures on you. That's why she did actually often go by Charlie. Her name was Charlotte. I believe she really wanted to move to France and live with her friend. But of course, my father heard none of that. She always had to be seen with him because that's proper.
Sophie, this is going to be a very improprietous question. But what year were you born?
Oh, never supposed to ask a woman her age. It was a while ago.
I only ask because, while this could be your mother, it's possible that it could be cousins, sisters.
Well, I had a brother, but he's also not around. Not Duncan, of course. Although I would I could refer to him as a brother, but no, I had a brother. Which the line is, it seemed to be quite successful, which is, exciting. The family name maintained on without me.
It sounds like you lost more than you've imagined through the war and various other causes. Or through both wars. She's gonna activate Oblivion Sight again. To see if that older woman is still looming over her.
She is.
Does she seem to be reacting at all to this conversation?
She still has the gaunt, kind of sunken features. If she did have any reaction, it happened before you activated the site. She's kind of in that same kind of just glaring intensity towards Sophie.
Maggie will pull out her sketchbook and put it on the bar top and flip very quickly to an empty page. The pages before it, you're not really able to see what's on it, but they seem to be very full. And she will look past Sophie again to the woman. May I draw you? Ma'am.
Sure. Oh, sure.
She doesn't seem to respond.
Okay. Maggie will proceed to draw the older gaunt woman and also Sophie, since she now has her permission for that.
Okay. Give me the roll that you use for reconstruction.
Okie.
Okay. As you are doing the sketch, the more detailed you get, and you are making a pretty impressive depiction of what it is that you're seeing. You begin to notice that the more you focus and create this image, the more the subject seems to shift. The more detail that you get in the eyes, the more you notice the eyes. The head not shifting, but the eyes have turned toward you. Once you get the general imagery, you start getting in some of the detail. Not fully finished with the entire makeup of the face, but the clear imagery of the eyes, kind of the cheek, the brow. Once that has become crystal clear, the lights flicker in the building. When you look up, see the lights, and you look back down, she is in your face. Her eyes seeming to fall way deeper than any you've ever seen before. Her mouth gaped ajar. And then all of the lights go out entirely, and she vanishes.
Oh, sorry about that. They may not have kept up with the utilities since the bar's not supposed to be operational. I'll see about maybe trying to turn these back on.
Oh no, I do believe that was my fault.
Oh, so you can make it dark.
No, that wasn't me. That was that, older woman. Some spirits do not like being directly perceived. She'll kind of tap her phone to turn on the light and shine it onto her sketch pad so that Sophie can see it.
So do you think there is a danger?
I think that this person holds something of perhaps a grudge. And it seems to be focused on you. But she has taken a notice to me now, so.
Well, I'm terribly sorry if I have now put you into danger. I did not intend for that.
Oh no. I put myself in this. You have no apology. You do not owe me an apology. People need to be aware of what they're walking with.
Sophie, when you look at the image that's presented, it does look an awful lot like you. But there are a couple of things that you don't recognize. Obviously, there's the gaunt expression. The thing that jumps out at you is there appears to be something that resembles a scar coming from the right eye, kind of down the cheek. Obviously, you don't have that. There are subtle differences that you don't recognize, but she does look much like you. But you've never seen her before.
So it doesn't really look like my mother?
Only in the fact that she looks like you.
Maggie, you mentioned you could attempt to appease the spirits. by getting them closure. What if you're not sure what the spirit desires?
Sometimes you're able to ask them. Sometimes you're able to find other living relatives. Sometimes you have to make them leave.
Do you talk to these spirits?
Sometimes. I can talk to them frequently, but whether they talk back or not is usually up to their whim. Usually when they speak back to me, they are very new to being dead. They are scared, and they're looking for someone to help them. I do not believe this woman is one of those. While there's a possibility there might be fear, it's probably fed into other motivations by this point.
What if the spirit desires to see me harmed?
Then methods to remove them may not be gentle.
What kind of fee does someone with your abilities charge if it has to come to removing one?
I will have to learn such abilities first. I am not in possession of all of my books since my move, but I am capable of learning such things. I will determine a fee once I know what I need to. But I'm also getting into contact with others in the city who may have similar capabilities.
Well, thank you for enlightening me on this very scary new knowledge.
This is a scary world we live in. You may want to see if Mr. Kane will give you some warding for this place.
That is a wonderful deal. Thank you.
I wouldn't want to see any of you come to harm. It seems quite unnecessary.
You know, I think I don't really want to end up alone while I sleep tonight, so I believe I might head back to the safe haven that was just introduced to us.
Well, I hope you make it back safely. I'm going to head back to my mortuary.
Thank you again, Maggie.
Of course.
The two of you break the room. Is there anything else that happens this evening?
Maggie's probably gonna go make her phone calls.
Sophie?
Sophie will wait at the ascent for more people when it comes close to sunup, so that she's not alone.
And from there we will shift scenes again. Not very far from the ascent, we find ourselves in a space in the Dolly, in Edwin Kane's office. Edwin is seated at his desk when Cahill steps in. He steps over to Edwin. This just came across my desk. I thought you might want to look at it. He sets up a little TV kind of across the room, turns it on, and plays a video. Edwin looks at it. Find the source of the video footage, delete it, but save me a source copy. Do you want me to do anything about the two of them? No, I think we'll just hang on to this for now. Anything else, let me know. You know I will. He steps out, and the door closes, concealing Edwin. And with this, we will bring our session to a close. Thank you so much for tagging along, and we will see you all in the next chapter.